Hi, and thank you for choosing to listen to Master of Horror, where I bring you the scariest, true paranormal stories that I have ever come by. Please dive deep with me with these three true paranormal stories. Number 77.
Scary, true, paranormal story number 1, The Visitor.
Back in 2003, when I was around 16 years old, my family was checking out a house. The owners showed up to talk with my parents. The man seemed like a nice older man and mentioned that he had built the house himself. I stayed back watching as everyone talked while the owner was chatting and laughing with my parents. There was a moment when the conversation paused, then suddenly he turned away from them, and his expression completely changed. His happy face turned into the most sinister and hateful look I had ever seen. I don't think he saw me watching. I was on my phone with my head looking down, but I was keeping an eye on him the whole time. As soon as he turned back to my parents, his face changed again, and he started smiling and laughing like nothing happened. It gave me the creeps, and I felt a chill go throughout my body. Later, I told my mom about what I saw. She agreed. It was weird, but said maybe he was just socially awkward. She didn't seem too weird about it. We ended up buying the house after all, thinking it was a great deal and a nice place to live. After we moved in, things seemed normal at first. Then came the small noises I would hear at night. It was mainly me that heard these noises and sounds, like dishes being moved around. The one weekend, my family decided to go to church. I wasn't in the mood to go, so I told them I'd stay home. They didn't mind and left me there alone in the house. It was Sunday morning. Around 10 o'clock a.m., I heard a really loud banging outside. The sound was consistent and coming from the side of the house. I was upstairs on the other side of the house, so I couldn't see what it was. Honestly, I thought it was probably just the wind, since it was a stormy and windy day. I didn't think much about it and ignored it. About 5 minutes later, the banging stopped. Then, about 10 minutes later, I started hearing footsteps downstairs. It sounded like someone walking around. I could hear chairs being moved in the kitchen and even the fridge door being opened. I was petrified. I knew it was not my parents. I knew it wasn't my parents because they messaged me when they got to church. I quietly locked my bedroom door, trying not to make any noise. I grabbed my baseball bat from the corner of the room. Then I picked up my phone and called 911. My hands shaking as I told them my address and explained what was happening. While I was on call, I sent a quick text to my mom. I tried to stay calm, but then I heard footsteps coming towards the stairs. The house is pretty thin, so I could hear exactly where the sounds were coming from at the time. My mom texted back saying she was on her way home. My mom was 30 minutes away. There I was, a 16-year-old girl hiding in the room. I was so scared, I could barely think straight. I then heard something walking down the hallway, getting closer to my door. Then I saw the handle turn. It stopped because the door was locked. I heard a voice on the other side ask me to open the door. It was my grandma's voice. It just stood there. Whatever it was did not move. Those 30 seconds felt like a lifetime. That's when I heard it walk back down the hallway. Then I heard the back door open and shut. About 3 minutes later, the police arrived, and the 911 operator asked if I could let them in or if they needed to break in. Since I was sure it had left, I went downstairs and let them in. They checked the whole entire house, and there was no one there. No signs of forced entry at all. It was like whoever or whatever it was just disappeared. The creepiest part, and what really proved my story, was the hallway. My mom had just vacuumed it earlier, but now there was prints on the floor. It was large footprints. They led to my door, but there was no footprints walking away from my door. I was so confused, and I didn't know how this was possible that the prints stopped right outside my bedroom door. We changed the locks the next day and added extra security, but I never felt safe in that house again. Even now, I get chills thinking about how close I was to whatever was on the other side of my door.
True, scary, paranormal story number 2. The Haunted House.
My wife and I bought a house in Rolla, Missouri, which was built in 1992. Now, the first owner passed away in 2012 after having a serious illness. While he was sick, he stayed in a room that wasn't the master bedroom. His wife lived there for many years. After he was gone, she didn't want to sell the house, but had to because she couldn't keep up with the mortgage payments. When we first started moving in, we stayed at a hotel 20 miles away. The house used to be a ranch and is deep in the countryside. Once in the house, I turned on a hallway light and I left it on all day and night, but I found it turned off 3 times that same day. This hallway is very dark, and it's near the bedroom and bathroom where the man stayed when he was sick. My wife and I were busy moving in, so we kept going back and forth between Walmart, the hotel, and grabbing food during the day. It was a lot of running around, and we were both tired. When I finally got back to the house, I noticed the hallway light was off again. I casually asked my wife if she had turned it off. She looked confused and said no. Earlier that same day, I was the first one to go into the house while my wife was in the barn 200 feet away. We had left our dogs in the laundry room overnight, and this was the first time we came back to the house. That day, I went out onto the back patio through the sliding door and opened the outside door to the laundry room to let the dogs out. I stepped into the laundry room and closed the door behind me. I couldn't turn the laundry door handle. The handle doesn't lock, but I couldn't move it at all. It wouldn't budge, so I went back out to the patio and into the house through the sliding door. When I tried to open the laundry door from the inside, it easily opened, with no problem at all. The door and hardware are in great shape, almost like new. Maybe this means nothing, but to me, this was strange. I decided to leave the hallway light on again. We went out for dinner and came back. That night, we put the pugs in the laundry room and left for the hotel. I made sure the door was shut. The next day, we found the pugs had gotten out of the laundry room and chewed up several things. Now, we had an ADT alarm system with motion detectors inside, but it never went off, although the dogs were all over the house. So in this case, how can a small dog reach up and pull down on the door handle? To open the door, it has to be pulled down and opens towards you. The dogs are not tall enough to reach the handle, so how could the dogs get out of that room? What's strange is that every time we got back, the door was always closed when the dogs got out. I gave the handle a quick pull down. The 4th night, I was going to open the door to the bedroom that the owner stayed in before he went to hospice. I pulled down on the door handle, but it wouldn't move. Not only was it stuck, but the door didn't have any give at all. Before this, the door had a little movement. When I tried to go in the room, it felt like something on the other side was using all its strength to push against the door. I couldn't get in. The handle wouldn't move. I pushed on it, but then suddenly it gave way, like someone or something on the other side quickly let it go. This was really scary, and I almost ran outside to my wife. I was so scared. I can't even explain it right now. We aren't living in the house because it flooded a few weeks ago. We're back in Texas waiting for the house to get repaired. Since we've been here in Texas, the alarm has gone off several times. The last alarm went off a few days ago. The alarm company said the front door was open and there was motion in the front room. We still want to live there, even after the house is repaired. As believers, we're not sure what to do. We tried blessing the house, but some of this strange stuff has happened even after we left. Evil definitely exists, but I don't want it in my house. A few months ago, my mother, brother, and I moved to West Texas after we finished high school. We ended up in a neighborhood mostly filled with older people. Our house used to belong to an elderly couple, but they didn't pass away, they just moved out. In the first year of living there, not too much strange stuff happened. The only thing was hearing footsteps in my mom's bedroom upstairs while I was in the basement. I was the only one home, so it was odd. I tried to tell myself it was just house noises, but I didn't really believe that. That same year on Thanksgiving, I was in charge of loading all the food we made into the car that was parked in the driveway. It was a chilly morning, and I was rushing a little to make sure everything fit without messing up the pies or casseroles. As I carefully placed the last pie in the car, I suddenly heard an older woman's voice behind me. She said, "You'd better be careful with that." She sounded like she was teasing me. I clearly remember rolling my eyes, since I was facing the house and had my back towards her. I put on a smile ready to turn around and chat with her, but when I turned around, there was no one there. I looked around and thought maybe the old woman had been walking by and moved along, but I didn't see anyone. For a moment I thought I must have imagined it, but it's still too real to be imagined. I figured it had to be my brother playing a joke on me, maybe pretending to sound like an older lady. I checked the porch and the garage to find him, but he wasn't there either. My mom came outside right then, and I asked her if she had told me to be careful. She said no and looked confused. I think that was the day I started to believe in ghosts or whatever that was. A month later, during winter break, I was back home, curled up in my bed. Everything was quiet until I suddenly heard a soft sobbing sound coming from somewhere nearby. The crying sounded muffled, so I thought it might be my mom. I was about to go check on her when she texted me, "Hey, are you okay?" I replied yes, and why did she ask that? She said she heard the crying also and thought it was me. I told her it wasn't me and that I thought it was her or maybe the dog. She said no, it wasn't her, and that the dog was asleep at the end of her bed. We both decided it must have been the wind, or maybe a coyote, but to me it sounded way too human and way too sad to be either of those. Then one day I asked my mom what she thought about everything, the footsteps, the old woman, and the crying sounds. She said she thinks it might be Grandma. You see, my grandmother had passed away about 6 months after we moved into our new house. I asked her why she thought it was Grandma. She said sometimes she hears knocking on her door and thinks it's me or my brother, but then she remembers we're both away at college. I didn't tell my mom, but I don't think it's Grandma because she never came to this house. She got sick the day we moved in and never got the chance to visit. Also, the voice I heard on Thanksgiving didn't sound like her at all. Grandma's voice was soft and calm, but this voice was sharp and unpleasant. It was scary. I know that our house is haunted. I am a true believer in the paranormal now, and I will never change my mind for anything.